Hey, what's up guys? So this is gonna be my first coaching video. So we're looking at this guy up here, Ultimate Sand 45. He said he was playing Reinhardt, King's Row. Obviously this is gonna be a loss, spoiler alert. Anyway, so basically can't get much closer. So mid diamond. Let's take a look to see what happens. Alright. So Symmetra, May, Roadhog. Okay. So the general goal, first you have to kinda figure out who's gonna deal the damage, who you need to like shield, who you need to like really babysit, protect in a way. Understand who's gonna be the weakest link. It's probably gonna be Roadhog. Roadhog needs bubble, needs the for Roadhog to really work well, he needs protection when he goes to throw out his hook. Typically you can do this with the Zarya bubble, you can do it with the Reinhardt shield, you can do it with pretty much anyone. But the idea of it is, when Roadhog throws out the hook, he stuns himself, he needs protection. In that moment he stuns himself. May is probably just gonna sit where she's at, right over here. Just waiting to wall people off. You'll want to make sure you charge them. If it's a good person to charge, like if she cuts them off well, she's gonna put the wall right in here, and it's gonna be a great opportunity for you to pin the target. Symmetra, she's just gonna kinda chill. Alright, so fire striking door, and timing's alright, whatever. Just try to get some ult charge. You had a hit marker, but you didn't get charged, which means you hit a barrier. Probably Zarya. So, another thing to keep in mind, if you already see Pharmacy, you see Zarya bubble, you see Reinhardt. Honestly, until you get confirmation of a Roadhog or not, whether it be through figuring out all 6 members or just waiting the like 15 seconds until you can see the whole team, I would be kind of wary of just a Roadhog hook. So the bunny hopping's fine. I like the move. I like your general positioning overall. One thing to note is you also have to, let's see if I can find a better spot. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's good. I don't know who that is off on the left side. I still can't see them. I like the way you like kind of like fall back a little, try to bait them into the wall, and then once the wall does go up, you step back forward to try and get the catch any people, help clean it up, whatever. This is going to be something that like I absolutely did not notice, but you do have to keep an eye on flanks. Especially, so Reinhardt has an interesting thing of he can go third person, which allows you to get a better overview of your area, helps you spot flanks, all that sort of jazz. Okay, Mercy cleaned up the tracer. Let's see. I would kind of let your shield charge a little more. You're letting it take some unnecessary damage, and you're not really shielding too much. Like, I'd... So... Yeah, you're blocking the major source of damage, Farah. That's fair enough. I'm not sure if you do have a mic or not, but I would be calling to how far is breaking your shield. Now, I don't think you have any hit scan, whoever that last person is. If it is a soldier or McCree, you just have to trust them to do their thing. But there's not too much more you can do. Like, Roadhog should be focusing the enemy shield, but there's not too much you can do other than just continue to back up. This I don't like. So Mei already goes down. So yeah, it was a far too aggressive move. Now, to be fair, you were also trying to follow up on the Mei. I'm kind of critiquing the Mei here. So, the wall placement isn't that well. People can still get in and out. Reinhardt's in. We know Reinhardt's in. He's already pushed in. Who else did we see walk in? So Pharmacy's in. We see the Tracer. We see the Lucio. We see the Mercy back off. Charges are against the enemy Zarya are very 50-50. You have to know when she has her bubble to save her teammates. Because if you charge, pin someone, but the Zarya has the bubble, you just fed her charge and you're slightly out of position. Another reason I don't like this move is you have half the team here, you have half the team here. You're charging straight into the middle. There's zero chance you can block both sides. Also, you're playing a very difficult matchup of Pharah Tracer, who are just gonna negate the shield by just going around it. So, regardless of which way you face, you're still gonna just get eaten alive by damage. Your Mei shouldn't be up there. Is that a Zenyatta orb? I think that's a Zenyatta orb. Anyway, the charge is too aggressive. That's what I think. You'll be surrounded. The only person to protect you is Mei. Your Roadhog might get a hook if the enemy Reinhardt charges you. That's about it. Mercy's not going to heal through the damage. And also, it was very ambitious. And the fact that nobody was in that position when you went for the charge. You just kind of hope someone walked into it. Let's see. I'm just trying to see the team comp. It is a soldier. Okay. if nothing else, walking out, if you don't have a mic and whatnot, just tell them to charge your ult. Yeah, group up. Alright. So, Pharah's deep in enemy territory by herself. You're taking a lot of fire strikes as well. So, one analogy for it that I've heard is when playing Reinhardt versus Reinhardt is it's rock paper scissors, essentially. Fire strike, your shield, and earth shatter instead. And where if you're shielding and the enemy fire strikes, they get free ult charge out of it, free damage on you, and they also get a bit on your shield. Your shield blocks the earth shatter, but it's weak to fire strike. The fire strike beats the shield, but is weak to earth shatter. Earth shatter beats the fire strike, but is weak to shield. Basically, if they go to fire strike, you're putting yourself up to being earth shattered. If you just keep the shield up, you're being weak to the fire strike. And if you fire strike, you're once again weak to the earth shatter. So, basically what I do is I drop the shield for half a second and jump out the way. Sort of like the shield hopping sort of thing that you've been doing. Which, by the way, is what you're supposed is a way of moving up and back without. So, in that regard, you're doing fine. I'm not sure we should be doing this. So, soldiers on the high ground, he can't use your shield. Roadhog's with you on the low ground, but that's about it. I think the amount of spam your shield is taking versus how much you could get out of peeking this with Roadhog is not very good. I would just kind of let them like turn the corner and force them into this. Give up this corner and force them to take the fight here. Because Pharah, like you're just taking spam from halfway across the map that like Roadhog can't do anything from this range. Especially with the Reinhardt shield. All he can do is poke down the shield. But the Pharah and the Zarya are doing far more damage than your Roadhog is doing. I would just fall back, and then once you fall back to the back corner, Roadhog's hook will be basically the max range of the hook. If you're sitting at that back corner, will be right around in here where you're standing, which is where they need to be pushing. Your soldier can then kind of flank a little bit, although I don't really like your soldier's position too much. I think your team should be holding a little further back. Now, unless you get up on the mic and say, hey, we need to step back, we need to regroup back here, we need to go back, there's not much you can do to convey that. Okay, right here, just let your shield charge. Your Mei's being stupid. I would not. Yeah, just keep backing up. Okay, so you just got wrecked by the trees, sir. So your May goes back in. She's trying to fight, what, 3 people? She cuts off the Zarya. Tracer's behind y'all. I'm just trying to think what you could have specifically done differently. Honestly, I think a more defensive hold would have been better. Let's see if your Smasher sets up the cancel teleporter. Or, oh, she already has. Okay. You see what I mean about the Roadhog hook? Now, this one... Now specifically, this one isn't exactly what I was talking about, the exact spot, but it's about the same length. And you saw the Roadhog hook went all the way to the shield. That means he controls this whole length. If anyone peeks from the side of the carts while the shield is down, Roadhog can hook. Also, Roadhog's alternate fire, the range is about the same as like the hook. So Roadhog is far more effective in this sort of range. Not a bad counter, but was it needed? I'm just gonna kind of let this play out.
Heroes never die. Heroes never die.
Alright.
There's still fight in me yet. Earthshatter, ready.
So nice block. A counter shatter isn't bad, but in this particular instance, I wouldn't have done it. Now, typically, yes, when a Reinhardt shatters, his first instinct is to walk up and try and start swinging. So it's very easy, if you block it, to get a counter shatter. But you only drop the Lucio and the Reinhardt. Now, this is kind of... I'm not saying only shattering 2 people is bad, but in this particular instance, there was no sort of threat. There was no sort of fight they were initiating that you were scared of. Like, that you needed to stun them. There was no sort of threat they were posing. There was no sort of anything. It was kind of just a waste. So then you shatter back. He shatters, he wastes his into your shield. You shatter, only knock down those 2. So, what I would have done here is, assuming, so with the shatter, I would not have charged. I don't like this charge. If you had charge say to the left against this wall, I could see it. But just 2 swings would have done it. And your fire strike was on a 2-second cooldown, so by the time, even if you took 1 swing and waited for the fire strike, you would have killed him. But what you do when you charge out here is you're exposing yourself on the left side completely to the whole team. And Reinhardt's still behind you. So you come back, you try to back up into it. Also, your hog kind of used up a lot, so you get. So I hear Tech Visor. So far, what they have used in this fight is Shatter. They used Pulse Bomb earlier, but that charges really fast. You might have it again. Then they use Shatter. Then they use Res. Then they pop Barrier, which is actually a very nice combo. Is to res into a sound barrier. So you use Shatter. I heard Attack Visor go off. You use res. Who is left? You have Mei. You've also used Roadhog. So you have a Mei ult. They have Barrage. Grab. There's Pulse Bomb. Let's keep backing up. Just let your Roadhog do his thing. Let's use nice. Unless you're in the middle of a major team fight, don't pop it once you get it. Once again, there was no threat. Literally the only thing in front of you was a Tracer. And it missed. Oh, we didn't even have a Mei Blizzard in that fight. He picked up Mimicry. I did see that earlier, but I assumed the soldier swapped. I would not push up here. I would not walk around the corner and peek. Your shield's already over halfway. Now you have nothing to block. Okay. In this particular instance, shield management was very poor. Well, not necessarily shield management, but you walk up here to engage on them a little bit. I don't know if you planned on a full engage, just poke war, whatever it was, but you've barely stepped out. It's already half. You let it drop to charge, but then have to back off immediately. You try to shield. Okay. I didn't hear and I didn't see it, and I don't see it until you're already charged in the animation for the charge, but your McCree Deadeye's in the middle of the graph. And your Roadhog also ulted. Right there is when you needed your shield. But you didn't have it. Had you been able to hold up your shield, you could have blocked for the McCree and the Roadhog until they finished casting their ults and possibly swung the fight back in your favor. But you were forced to charge, which then got shattered and interrupted both their ults. Roadhog still got the Tracer. Let's see. Okay. You're trading. That's the big one. Fire got Mercy. I saw what you were doing. Wasn't a bad idea. That's actually a funny interaction I like to mess with. Is if the hammer connects behind the enemy Reinhardt shield, you will shatter him even with his shield up. If you just walk basically point blank to the enemy Reinhardt and shatter, you can still shatter him through, basically through his shield. So, let's see. I might have just simply not charged, in hindsight. The idea of it was fine. You get the Reinhardt out of position, you're going back into your team. But it might have been better to just be the wall, soak up the damage for the team, let your DPS, let your Roadhog deal with the Reinhardt. So the poor Lucio. Okay. Even though they res, you're still doing fine. You're trying to retreat, you're making it difficult. Here's the point where you back off. Your shield's already sub 500. When you're trying to let your shield charge, no more poking. So when you see a McCree your friendly McCree casting Deadeye, do your damnedest to try and protect him. Whether it's just standing in front of him with a shield, trying to body block a charge, all of that. You have to think, when the enemy sees, if you see an enemy McCree pop his Deadeye just standing out there, you want to focus him. You want to get to him. It doesn't matter about anyone else. He becomes the highest priority. if you can take the charge, I'm not sure if you would survive, but it allows McCree to continue to charge his Deadeye, and you just had a Reinhardt charge, Zarya pop a bubble. He is about to have a pretty free Deadeye, no barriers, Pharah's flying around somewhere. You need to be more aware of protecting like higher value stuff. Alright. The general idea of this is fine. Of kill the supports. But as a Reinhardt, that is not your job. A, they are going to out-heal the damage you do unless you get a pin. That's the only way you can outdo it. And the rest of your team is behind you. They want a shield to stand behind. You just kinda got distracted and blood hungry. It's not your job. So you hear the pulse bomb. Contest. Everyone stepped off. To be fair, I think you're the last one. You're gonna die anyway. But as the tank, it is your job to stand on the point. Especially in those crucial moments. Be aware of that. So you know people are standing out here. They're going to spam you. Don't eat the fire strike. Is that Diva? Is that a Diva? It's definitely a Junkrat, Soldier, Lucio, Reinhardt. There's a Mercy. Did you hear that? Barrier destroyed. So, you're basically never going to have a shield this. Honestly, at this point, it would be nice if your Roadhog swapped to Diva just to help eat the damage, all the spam. So your team's still doing pretty well. I would have preferred to see you just step forward with the shield when your Roadhog ulted. This is fine. Payload's still coming out. Okay, y'all should be pushing. Doing like basically what I do in that moment of the payload still coming out of the garage or whatever it is. I just throw a fire strike and then I'll walk back and wait on it. So the charge was fine. So the only person to block your shatter goes away, you immediately shatter. Not bad. That was very good. Also, Mercy walking out into it, very lucky. Because that's one thing that's happened a lot, is you would shatter, clear out, Mercy just walk in and res on the defense.
I'm escorting the payload. Let's keep it moving.
Soldiers behind you, swing on them. So when Zenyatta pops trance, basically nothing can kill you. The only things that you would need to worry about are Earth Shatter, which has a cast time and an audio cue that you can pop the shield for, and Diva Bomb. I would just take the swing at him. A, you do free 75 damage. B, what happens is when Reinhardt swings on someone, it knocks them. It's a bit disorienting, and as a DPS, it can be the most frustrating thing when you're trying to run away from the Reinhardt or run in just some general direction, because likely you would have pushed him into the payload and then he would have been stuck for another like half a second or whatever. But gives the opportunity for the Roadhog to hook, gives the opportunity for DPS just to fire him on him, whatever. I would really have liked to see you drop the shield and just waited until some sort of something else forced you to put it up.
Heroes never die.
He's got a half shatter. Right here, you're out of position. Pretty much your whole team's dead. Try to jump down that little hole. Jumping down that little hole would have been nice. Just to do it a little faster, not give as much ult charge. Sorry, just not too long after I got off work. A little tired. So, 2 of your people are down. I would just back up at this point. Your reaction time on the enemy shatters, or both times, have been pretty good. Well, there was the one where you were in the grab, but your shield was broken anyway, so there's nothing you could really do about it. But then there was one on the same point where you shattered through the payload that you didn't catch. But you've blocked a good bit of them. You just saw that on the right. You saw soldier run to the right. Soldier's still behind you. I get Reinhardt. An A for effort. Nice counter. I think I don't like the shatter. Had his shield been down anyway, I don't think he would have caught much. Now, to be fair, knocking down the shield would have been great, but okay, you have 40 seconds left. Unless your mercy just went down, I would have just let them kill you at that point. Because you needed to just regroup as fast as possible and not die. Go ahead and start making a move forward. Don't wait until the last second and just charge. Kind of scary just watching. Poor Zenyatta. Kind of scary just watching you charge away from the payload in overtime. Just shield. Shield. I think you just should have shielded him earlier and just took the spam straight to your shield. Here, just let your mercy heal you up, get res, survive. You hear it go off. At the very least, you can turn and try and shield yourself. What many Junkrats will do is simply try to drive behind the shield and get you when they see the shield go up. Now yes, that pretty much guarantees you die, but your mercy is probably close to another res, because she sealed you up from low health a couple times. You need drawing the Junkrat to you is not a bad option. I would say the overall thing you need to work on more is just knowing which fights to take, knowing what you need to shield, that sort of deal. Let me go back. We'll just leave it here for now. Anyway, I would say your shield is one thing for certain. you kind of, on defense, really the only thing major you had to block was the Pharah. So it was very easy to just manage blocking the Pharah. But on attack, they had the Junkrat Soldier combo, Diva. It's, as a Reinhardt player, it's very frustrating playing against a Junkrat. He will destroy your shield constantly. Any sort of shotgun will also have the same sort of effect where you'll sit there and just your shield will always be gone. That's why Roadhogs are considered great shield busters. So it became less about shielding the damage of just the spam damage and more about blocking the important stuff. You kind of lost out on defense. You did a great job of blocking Earth Shatters, but when it came to the attack, you just kind of let it happen. You kind of got too greedy with the swings, got too greedy with the fire strikes. I think you have a hard time putting yourself into the shoes of your enemies, sort of deal. You have to think, what would I do if I were them? What would I do what would be the worst case scenario? What would they do that would deny me X? Or it's kind of hard for me to put into words. I'm not the most eloquent speaker or whatever. But it's just you have to think from both sides, sort of deal. You have to think, what do I need to protect? What do I need to block? Overall, not bad. But of course you are in Diamond, so to be expected. But I would say just know what you need to block, know what you need to protect, and do that. I know that's not the best as specific advice as you would probably like to hear, but it's the truth. Alright, well with that, I'll see you next time. Subscribe, like all the YouTube stuff. Later.